Hello there, very good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. I'm Tracy Shilshi and in the next 30 minutes, I'll be getting you all the updates from Parliament and also all the national and international news. Let's start with the headlines. Rajya Sabha adjourned till 2:30 p.m. following protests over various issues. Debate on budget fails to continue despite the chairman suspending question hour. Finance Minister is slated to reply to the debate today. Lok Sabha is adjourned till 5th of March after protests by TDP, YSR Congress and Congress MPs. TDP and YSRC protests over special package for Andhra. Congress raises the Rafale deal issue. By-polls to parliamentary constituencies of Gorakhpur and Phurpur in Uttar Pradesh and Araria in Bihar are announced. Polling to take place on the 11th of March. Counting of votes on 14th March. Prime Minister Narendra Modi embarks on a 4-day visit to Palestine, UAE and Oman. First Indian Prime Minister to visit Palestine and Oman. Ahead of his visit, the Prime Minister says Gulf and West Asia is key for India's foreign policy. And the first Khelo India School Games concludes. Haryana steals the march from Maharashtra to top the medals tally with 38 gold. And the opening ceremony of the 18-day Winter Olympic Games today in South Korea's Pyeongchang. A 2-member Indian contingent at the Games. Top story this hour. Rajya Sabha has been adjourned till 2:30 p.m. today. The House first was adjourned till 12 noon after some MPs continued their protests on the special package for Andhra Pradesh. Soon after the House resumed at noon, the TMC's Derek O'Brien suggested that the question hour be suspended and Rajya Sabha sit through lunch break to debate on the union budget.
That this budget discussion is very important. There are many people here. I know it is not your style to do away with question hour. We are making a request to you since the LOP is not here, we are doing it. Please start the budget discussion now. Question hour we can, and then carry on. No lunch break, but we must speak on the budget. No lunch break, but we should...
The chairman did seek the approval of other members who said that they are willing to debate on the issue. Neeraj Shekhar of the Samajwadi Party, who could not complete his portion of the debate on Thursday, was asked to continue, but when he did stand up to speak, protests by MPs on the Andhra issue continued. Several members from the Congress also began raising the issue of notices given by them. The chairman then adjourned the House till 2:30 p.m. following the continued protests.
I have a suggestion to make. When one leader is there, what he suggested is okay. I am accepting the suggestion of honorable members. Though it should not be the normal practice, but I am doing a question hour and then starting the debate on budget. Then I want budget discussion to start on the...
And Lok Sabha has been adjourned till 5th of March when Parliament meets again for the second part of the budget session. TDP members in the lower house raised the issue of special status to Andhra Pradesh. The Congress tried to raise the issue of the Rafale jet deal today. First, the House was adjourned till 12 noon and then for the day. And before this, TDP and YSR Congress MPs protested in Parliament premises demanding a special package for Andhra Pradesh. The TDP has alleged that the budget has not done justice to the state. Finance Minister Arun Jaitley had yesterday assured in Lok Sabha that the centre will work out a solution in the next couple of days. Well, our senior correspondent Vineet Dikshit, in fact, has been tracking all the developments in Parliament. Vineet, good afternoon. First of all, talking about the first half of Rajya Sabha, quite a few disruptions that we saw there. Just give us a brief look into what went through.
Well, Tracy, as we all are aware, it was a very long delay. We were expecting that budget discussion would begin from 12 noon sharp, but due to many disturbances and particularly the demands raised by TDP MPs, that had brought the House to a standstill nearly, and the chairman said that I cannot ask the House to function in this unruly behavior, and he had to no option but to adjourn the House It was not expected for many members to that he would be adjourning it to 2:30. If the House reassembles at 2:30, Tracy, the Finance Minister's reply is scheduled for today at 5 p.m., which is unlikely to happen at 5 p.m. That schedule might be extended till late in the evening. Yesterday, the Rajya Sabha sat till late, around 10 p.m. Today, if the proceedings are resumed after 2:30, if the budget discussion takes place, and if Finance Minister is asked to come back and reply, that may happen late in the evening. There are too many ifs and buts, Tracy.
Absolutely, and but that is also the a reason for that is because today is, of course, the last day of the first half of the budget. And of course, the chairman is keen that the budget discussion continues. And that is the reason why, in most probability, it could go on until, of course, we see further disruptions that we've seen in the first half of the day, of course.
Well, technically speaking, the budget session will continue from tomorrow onwards, when there will be a recess of 1 month for 4 weeks, when the budget will be discussed threadbare in the standing committee meetings that would start from Monday onwards, away from the media glare, away from everybody's prying eyes, I mean, as it is said, because all the standing committee meetings where the budget takes place, it's in-camera meeting where the officials of the different ministries come and dispose their cases before the 12 department-related standing committees.
Okay.
In the House, the first part of the budget session is devoted to the motion of thanks and the budget speech. Motion of thanks debate took place. Prime Minister replied. All-important Finance Minister reply was scheduled, in Rajya Sabha. Let's see if it happens on time.
Yes.
Yesterday, Finance Minister replied in Lok Sabha, and wherein he had already announced that a substantial financial package is being allocated for Andhra Pradesh. But here in Rajya Sabha, the TDP MPs are still adamant on their demands, and that is how the budget session would be shaping up. 5th of March is when both the houses reassemble after the standing committee deliberations, and expectedly around, say, 19th of March, when the entire budget is disposed of and when the budget is passed by the parliament. That is scheduled, Tracy, around 19th of March, but it's still long way. Today we have to finish the unfinished agenda.
All right,
Tracy,
thank you so much for joining us for those details. We'll come back to you through the day, of course, for more updates on what's taking place there. As you stated, 5 p.m. is, of course, when the Finance Minister Arun Jaitley is expected to reply in Rajya Sabha. We'll keep an eye out for that and give you more updates on if that, of course, gets postponed too. Meanwhile, Samajwadi Party's Naresh Agrawal raised a point of order in Rajya Sabha today, and he mentioned a post on social media by another member of parliament directed towards the chair, appealing to the member concerned to apologize to the chair for bringing down the dignity of parliament by making his opinion vocal on social media. Several members associated themselves with Agarwal. BJP MP Bhupendra Yadav also responded to this.
Please tell me.
माननीय चेयरमैन साहब, हम सबको इस चेयर पर विश्वास है और हम लोग सम्मान भी चेयर की करते हैं। कल श्रीमन फेसबुक पे इस सदन के एक माननीय सदस्य ने माननीय चेयर के लिए कुछ ऐसे शब्द लिख दिए जो शब्द संसदीय नहीं है, जो शब्द किसी प्रकार नहीं लिखने चाहिए, क्योंकि हम लोग को पूरा अधिकार है, चेयर हमसे कुछ भी कह दे, हमें जो कहना चेयर से कमरे में कह दें। लेकिन इस तरह फेसबुक या सोशल मीडिया पर जाने में इस सदन की गर्मा गिरती है, कुर्सी की गर्मा गिरती है। तो मैं इस बात को कह रहा हूँ, वो माननीय सदस्य से मैं कहूँगा कि वो चेयरमैन से खेद प्रकट कर लें, चेयरमैन से माफ़ी मांग लें, और हम सब जानते हैं कि आप पे पार्शियलिटी होने का सवाल ही नहीं उठता, हम सबको न्याय मिलता है। ये मेरा
हम सब सदन के अंदर चेयर के सम्मान के साथ हम लोग कार्यवाही में सब लोग भाग लेते हैं। मेरा ये आग्रह है कि संसद में आपस में हमारे राजनीतिक दलों के एक दूसरे से वैचारिक मतभिन्नताएं हो सकती हैं, राजनीतिक दलों की कार्यवाही पे एक दूसरे पे आक्षेप कर सकते हैं, पर जहाँ तक चेयर का सवाल है, हम सब लोग चेयर से बंधे हुए हैं सर, और इसलिए जिन भी सदस्यों ने फेसबुक पे या सोशल मीडिया में इस प्रकार का उपयोग किया है, निश्चित रूप से सदन की भी अवमानना है और संसदीय परंपरा के भी ये खिलाफ है। इसलिए जो नरेश जी ने कहा है, मैं आग्रह करूंगा कि उनको ये खेद व्यक्त करना चाहिए,
क्योंकि फेसबुक हमारे बस का है नहीं, ना हम जानते हैं ना पढ़ते हैं कभी, लेकिन मैं तो अभी इनसे सुन रहा हूँ। ये तो बहुत अफसोस की बात है कि इस तरह की चीज़ें फेसबुक पे आ जाएं और चेयर पे, कोई भी चेयर, और लीस्ट ऑन चेयरमैन, इसके हम पूरी निंदा करते हैं और मेरे ख्याल में हर पूरे सदन को इससे डिसएसोसिएट करना चाहिए।
The Honorable Chairman of the Rajya Sabha gives us enough opportunities to discuss any grievance we have with him. Going with these issues, we can always talk to the chairman in confidence. We do not need to go to any part of the social media to express ourselves. We clearly want to tell you this, sir.
Thank you.
And while discussions continued in the House, in an unfortunate incident, Odisha MP A.V. Swami fell down in Parliament premises today. Rajya Sabha Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu informed the House that he has been moved to a hospital and his situation is being monitored. The Chairman also personally inquired about the MP's condition. In other news, Bharatiya Janata Party held its parliamentary party meeting today, which was led by Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Party President Amit Shah. Prime Minister Modi said that the budget tabled by Finance Minister is a positive one. He also appreciated the maiden speech of Amit Shah in the upper house. Prime Minister Modi also said that there should be a tiffin meeting at booth levels to give the details of the union budget to the common public. He further added that budget should be discussed in mock parliaments. BJP President Amit Shah criticized the unparliamentary behavior of the Congress party during the Prime Minister's speech in Lok Sabha.
बीजेपी के संसदीय दल के बैठक को संबोधित करते हुए माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने कहा, इस बार का बजट हर बार के जैसे सकारात्मक बजट है। विशेष तौर पर किसान के लिए और गरीब, अति गरीब, निम्न मध्यम वर्गीय ऐसे सामान्य जनता के लिए, उनके स्वास्थ्य सुरक्षा के लिए जो योजनाएं हैं वो पूरा देश भर में वो किसानों के और जनता के बीच में पहुंचाना चाहिए।
The Election Commission has announced the schedule for bypolls to 3 Lok Sabha seats and 2 Assembly seats. Bypolls in Lok Sabha constituencies of Gorakhpur and Phulpur in Uttar Pradesh and Araria in Bihar will be held on the 11th of March. Gorakhpur Lok Sabha seat was vacated by Yogi Adityanath, who contested the UP Assembly elections and subsequently took over as the state's Chief Minister. Former Phulpur MP Keshav Prasad Maurya was elected as the state's Deputy Chief Minister. 2 Assembly bypolls in Bihar's Jahanabad and Bhabua constituencies will also take place on the 11th of March. The last date of filing nominations for the 5 bypolls is the 20th of February, and the last date of withdrawal of candidature is 23rd of February. Counting of votes for all the bypolls will be taken up on the 14th of March. A quick break here. We'll be back with more national and international news in a bit. Stay with us.
Hello and welcome to the National Elections Quiz 2018. With which Indian state would you associate Red Panda, Mrig Babu and Votuda as mascots?
As the final nears, the competition gets tougher.
And that is the right answer. Very well done. Let's continue with the quiz. What is this new method of monitoring elections?
Watch out for the third semi-final of the National Election Quiz 2018.
What is your answer?
Online.
10 points to the team from Daman and Diu. Very well done.
Presented to you by the Election Commission of India. Sunday at 9 AM and 3:30 PM. Only on Rajya Sabha TV.
Welcome back. The other big story we're tracking today, Prime Minister Narendra Modi embarked on a visit to Palestine, UAE and Oman a short while back. And ahead of his visit, the Prime Minister said that Gulf and West Asia are key for India's foreign policy and that his trip was aimed at strengthening ties with the region. He said it would be his 5th visit to the Gulf and West Asian region since 2015. In a series of tweets, the Prime Minister said that India enjoys vibrant, multi-dimensional ties with the countries in the region and also said that he's looking forward to discussions with President Mahmoud Abbas in Palestine and reaffirming India's support to the Palestinian people and development of Palestine. The Prime Minister, who will also visit the UAE, described it as a valued strategic partner. The PM will be addressing the 6th edition of the World Government Summit in Dubai, where India is the guest country. The Prime Minister also wrote about his first visit to Oman, which he said shared thriving links rooted in centuries-old people-to-people exchanges. Well, India and Palestine are set to create a new milestone in bilateral relations as PM Modi becomes the first Indian PM to visit Palestine on Saturday. And this will not only strengthen new strategic vision of India, but also renew Indian bonhomie with most of the Arabian and Gulf nations. RSTV's Akhilesh Suman brings us a report on what to expect. Prime Minister Modi will reach Ramallah on the 10th of February. After official meetings with Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas, both sides are expected to sign a host of agreements relating to cooperation in infrastructure and IT, among others. Prime Minister Modi will also inaugurate an Information and Communication Technologies or ICT park and hand over a diplomat training institute built by India for Palestinians. Before the formal talks, though, Prime Minister Modi will visit a museum dedicated to Yasser Arafat, the founder of the Palestinian movement and one of India's strongest supporters.
One of the signature projects of his visit is the building of ICT Park, India-Palestine ICT Park in Palestine, which has been under construction. That will create large-scale employment and also connect the Palestinian IT industry with the Indian IT industry. Then after that, for the Palestinian cause, we have taken significant steps. Apart from our regular support at various international fora, you are aware that in December 2017 we have voted in favor of a very, very important resolution on Jerusalem, and then before that we also contributed for the accession of Palestine into Interpol.
Prime Minister Modi is expected to assure the Palestinian leadership about India's continuous support to their cause and efforts to settle the Israel-Palestine conflict. Palestine is an old strategic ally of India in the Gulf and West Asian region.
This visit is part of that enhanced engagement, as JSXP mentioned, that also to secure our interest, both from the domestic perspective and also international perspective. We have also important engagement to Palestinian side on the security area.
India's expanding ties with Israel have added a new dimension to the India-Palestine relationship. India had also supported a UN resolution denouncing the US decision to recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. The standalone visit to Palestine also signals the government's stated policy of dehyphenating ties with Israel and Palestine. Akhilesh Suman's report for Rajya Sabha TV. Well, while the Prime Minister is on his way, our Foreign Affairs editor Akhilesh Suman is in fact in Ramallah in Palestine. Akhilesh, thanks for joining us. You've reached Ramallah, of course. Give us an idea of how India plans to help Palestine.
We are in Ramallah of Palestine, and you know that Ramallah is the city where Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas sits here. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi will come here, and all the official engagements will be completed here. And you can see behind me that Ramallah is developing very well, and that is why India's major emphasis is on infrastructure development of Palestinian and also the health sector, the IT sector, so that Palestinian people can be capable of and they can make their own society better. And if they get independence in coming times, they can be capable to handle the whole society, the whole administration. And India is also supporting Palestinian people in diplomatic relations, in diplomatic training, and all sorts of skill training India is giving. And Palestinian people and Palestinian Authority is very keen that India should train them in a way that they can emerge as a hospitality center, they can also emerge as an IT center, and they can also emerge in a better politicking and better diplomatic maneuvering all over the world. And I think that Prime Minister Narendra Modi's emphasis is that make Palestinian people capable so that they don't have to see towards any other, and India can be best useful in this endeavor. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will visit Palestine on February 10. This is the first ever visit of any Indian Prime Minister to the Palestinian land.
The relationship between India and Palestine is built on the foundation of long-standing solidarity, and friendship.
How will this visit strengthen ties? I, Akhilesh Soman, will travel to Palestine to bring you all the reports, in-depth analysis and major. Watch Rajya Sabha TV for our coverage of Prime Minister's visit to Palestine.
And ahead of that, Prime Minister Modi and US President Donald Trump on Thursday evening discussed the political crisis in Maldives in a phone call. It was Prime Minister Modi and Mr. Trump's first phone call of the year, where the two leaders discussed Maldives and other issues as well. In their talks, the two leaders expressed concern about the political situation in the Maldives and emphasized the importance of respect for democratic institutions and rule of law. The two also pledged to continue working together to enhance security and prosperity in the Indo-Pacific region. The developments come as Maldives plunged into crisis last week after President Yameen refused to comply with the Supreme Court verdict that quashes convictions against 9 leading opposition leaders. He in fact imposed a state of emergency and ordered the arrest of 2 of the 5 Supreme Court judges, along with the former President Maumoon Abdul Gayoom. The Maldives government has now sent special envoys to China, Pakistan and Saudi Arabia for garnering support. Maldives was to send a special envoy to India as well, but it could not take place due to scheduling issues of the Indian leadership, is what they claim. And in the US, the government has officially shut down for the second time this year after the Congress failed to meet a deadline to vote on a new budget. The 600-page plan proposes to increase its spending by about $300 billion. Senators debated all night, but lawmakers struggled to overcome last-minute objections from Republican Senator Rand Paul. Talks are continuing with the hope that the shutdown can be rescinded before work begins on Friday. But for that to happen, the plan must be passed in both the Senate and the House of Representatives and signed by the President. Hundreds of thousands of workers would not go into work on Friday if a shutdown takes place through the start of the day. However, key functions like postal service and social security checks would continue. This is the US government's shutdown for the second time in 2018. Back home, where Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu attended the 10th Auto Summit organized by the Federation of Automobile Dealers Associations in New Delhi today. The theme of the summit is Control Our Destiny. Vice President addressed the summit, stating that the biggest challenge before everyone is environment. He asked the auto sector to make necessary changes to make it environment-friendly. He also said that the Indian automotive industry and organizations like Automobile Dealers Association must gear up to meet the future requirements by adopting newer, cleaner technologies that are innovative and environmentally sustainable.
It's not for the Green Tribunal to advise us. All of us, we should take care of the planet, take care of the environment and work accordingly by making necessary changes, by bringing necessary transformation. Everybody should follow ethical standards and also be transparent and then accountable. That is the message I want to give to all of you, because there is no time now, because the world is moving faster and we also should join that. And India, with all its wisdom, with the talent, with the knowledge, we cannot lag behind.
And on to sports. In the first Khelo India School Games, which are a part of the Khelo India program, concluded in New Delhi on Thursday. Haryana topped the overall medal tally with 38 gold medals, 26 silver and 38 bronze medals. Maharashtra ranked second with 36 gold medals, 32 silver and 43 bronze medals. India ranked third with 25 gold. In fact, Delhi, ranked third with 25 gold, 29 silver and 40 bronze medals. Union Minister of Youth Affairs and Sports, Rajyavardhan Rathore, hailed the inaugural edition of the Khelo India School Games, saying that it was as grand as any international event. In a series of tweets, the Union Minister said that the first edition of Khelo India could not have been possible without the help of the people who've worked 24/7 to ensure the smooth organization of the Games. He also expressed gratefulness to Prime Minister Narendra Modi for inspiring Khelo India School Games. The Union Minister also added that the Games might have come to an end, but the journey has just begun. And the Winter Olympic Games will kick off in South Korea's Pyeongchang today. However, the first mixed doubles curling event began on Thursday to open the competition. In the doubles, Switzerland defeated China and held a 5-4 lead, while in another match, Canada beat United States 6-4. The Indian flag was also raised at the Games Village. Luga Shiva Keshavan, India's contingent's chief de mission, Harjinder Singh, and the mayor of the Games Village were present during the brief ceremony. The 4 heats of luge men's singles event in which Keshavan will participate will take place on the 10th and the 11th of February. This is the first time South Korea is hosting the Winter Olympics, and North and South Korean athletes will march out under a united flag at the opening ceremony later today, which will be the 4th time in the two nations' history. North Korea's ceremonial head of state, Kim Jong-nam, will attend the opening ceremony. North Korea has nominated 22 athletes to compete in 3 sports. The tournament will conclude on the 25th of February. And that's it on the Midday News. Thank you for joining us.